Okay. So let's start with you, Lemon.
He's just sat there talking. Samuel's just sat there talking to himself, doing nothing. I've got to be playing Germany whilst also having this conversation.
Okay, now my audio is in.
Okay, let's start with Lemon. What were you gonna talk
Why was-
about again?
Oh, I was talking about naval superiority
Yeah.
to the Atlantic, but
So
you
how-
kind of need to talk about Germany taking France and the surrounding
I'm
countries
probably going to talk
with the
about
Blitzkrieg bomb first, don't you?
Front controller.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to end up talking about pre-World War II Germany.
And how did the naval fighting work? Because I have absolutely no idea, to be honest.
Outdated radar.
Yeah.
Polish.
Outdated.
It mainly depends on which ship you're talking about. If you're talking about 1941 with Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, then it was successful with the convoy raids. If you're talking about Bismarck, then it was unlucky. And if you're talking about 1943 with Scharnhorst, then you're talking about very outdated radar.
Wasn't the Bismarck like constantly out in the Atlantic to avoid being detected at German bases? I know the Norwegians did. I think a Polish submarine first detected the Bismarck, and
Like,
then
It was
The
it was the Polish
Bismarck-
that detected.
yeah,
Didn't it
Polish
pass through
detected the Bismarck.
Scandinavian waters? And they spotted
yeah.
a Swedish
Norwegian found
like
it.
No, it was
The
Sweden.
Norwegians saw it, and then Swedish forces also found it.
Yeah, but the Swedish reported it.
Yeah, and it was the Norwegians that ended up fighting it with the British.
Yeah, because Sweden reported
The-
it, and yeah,
Bismarck.
yeah, like we reported it to like British embassy or something, and then yeah, the Norwegians did not report it because they are gay.
birds!
Check balcony, you know?
Okay.
Bismarck was spotted by Sweden,
Yeah.
and then Norway later on towards the end of Bismarck's little rampage, fired salvos off of one of their cruisers saying
No!
"I am a Pole" to Bismarck in Morse code.
I've lost all my blood echoes.
If you're talking about 1940 or 39 when Hitler went to invade Norway, that was a complete embarrassment going by the logic of naval-wise.
Yeah.
Wasn't the invasion of Norway more of a propaganda thing?
Yeah, I think so.
It was more of a propaganda technique, yeah.
Yeah, because they brought along those NBFZ tanks, the shitty landship ones.
And those were propaganda tanks as well.
The Norwegians were able to take out one of Hitler's most recent cruisers, which was the Hippo class. They were able to take out Admiral Blücher. Hippo class, not Hippo.
Not talking about
The other thing as well is
I
Blücher
need
was
to
taken out
remind
3
myself
days.
that this is a project for school, so I can't say what I was thinking about to say, so I just remind myself of that so much.
I think you already know what was going through Samuel's head at the time.
Yeah.
That it was said.
I've just lost 7,000 blood echoes.
Oh, hi, Rosa.
fuck you, Rosha.
So, and then what happened, Lemon?
Well, Norway took out Admiral Blücher and then heavily damaged the heavy cruiser Deutschland. At the time, it was called Deutschland, but then later on they changed it to
And sometimes
KMS
some Deutschland.
Lutzow.
You know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna run back,
But what,
get my echoes.
weren't it like the Battle of Britain or something like that? Both Germany like placed out like buoys or something like that in the English Canal. Like if a pilot were shot down, they would be able to like swim through those or something. I think it was something.
Pro-
I'm not sure.
Probably. I know the Americans done that towards during Midway because each plane had, if the pilot survived the crash, had a life raft on it.
Yeah. But the thing with the bureaus, or boy, I can't speak. I'm having stroke. But the Germans
it's
had like
a thing to say.
equipped it so it would last for like 3 days or something. There were beds, water, like stuff like that in it. And I think there were alcohol too, just to like pass the time. It was something like that. And the British used them too.
Yeah, but then Britain probably didn't have them as well because obviously the ration problem.
Yeah. No, like
Surprised we
And-
actually lasted.
the British used the German like bureaus in the canal if they were shot down.
Mm.
So yeah, just not float around.
Oh, you shitbird!
I mean, it
Oh,
always
I-
depends on where you want to start
Got
with
killed by a bird.
when you come to the Battle of the Atlantic. Do you want to start after the Scapa Flow incident, or do you want to start after the
To be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about, so you can just go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah,
the,
you're
the
the
Scapa
Atheling
Flow
bastard,
incident
yeah.
was where U-boats managed to get into Scapa Flow, and then, which is obviously the main naval base for Britain up in Scotland, and they managed to torpedo. They sunk Royal Oak.
That was embarrassing.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure they sunk Royal Oak, Dad.
That's
So-
pretty embarrassing if
What-
just like a submarine pops out of the water like surprise and then torpedoes one of your ships
Like,
and then like dips. Yeah, just like dips. Like nope, I know.
Yeah, that was World War One. That was World War One that then happened. 1919 that happened,
M1919.
where when Britain was using former German ships as firing targets.
Oh, fuck off. Who's got my echoes now?
Ah, you.
I don't know much about like the naval stuff about World War.
The naval side of Germany was that of Hitler liked. It was a fact that Hitler liked warships because he saw them as a propaganda thing.
Yeah.
He saw it for propaganda, and he used Bismarck most of the time for propaganda. However, towards the end of the war, he realized how much of a waste they were because of how superior the British had become over the Kriegsmarine because of superior radar. Furthermore demonstrated during the Battle of North Cape, where Scharnhorst went from somewhat of a threat towards the British cruisers to, after Norfolk's shot on it, became useless.
Oh, I thought my echoes.
Huh. Never knew that.
The same thing applies with Bismarck, because the first gunnery, when it first opened fired on Hood, when it first opened fired on the two British cruisers following it, Suffolk and Norfolk,
Yeah.
it's the recoil of the gun damaged the firing system,
Oh,
meaning that it would be a lot
Wasn't the
more.
same? Wasn't that the same case with the Yamato? Well, how-
Yamato, I don't know for sure, because the Japanese actually had an idea when it comes to building ships.
I mean, again, Germany
went
wasn't
with-
really focusing on naval power because they were a landlocked. Well,
Yeah,
they
they
were
were-
by
they were
the
primarily-
coastline, but they were still landlocked.
Yeah. Like the Germans were actually far ahead when it came to tanks.
Oh yeah, fucking by a mile.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
Nope.
But again, what is the point in making vehicles that will consume large amounts of fuel, jets, when you don't even have the fuel for a fucking tractor?
Good question.
And
I mean, the entire reason that happens is because it was faster, and because of America now joining the war.
Yeah.
they just fucking stuck their hand in a lottery box and thought, fuck it, we'll do this.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people says that the Germans were bad, but you gotta like think of
They were
they were
originally
fighting
designed
a
for
war
infantry
like
combat.
across the world. You can't have a well-balanced tank that needs to be easily repaired, change out parts, and ship it like halfway overseas. That's why they made
The
Sherman,
Sherman-
because it was easy to like
Sherman had
repair.
an unfortunate.
I was
Sherman
having a
was-
conversation with Misty last night about what is the best tank, and it came down to the fact that we both agreed on is whatever the country's goals for it was. So the M4 Sherman had to be transported, couldn't be too big, couldn't be, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the
Um,
thing with the Sherman. It was good for that. But when it came to like fighting
Japanese tanks.
tigers, it was
Japanese tanks were amazing in the conquest of China, but they were shit fighting Shermans.
yeah.
But they
Yeah,
were
but the
better
reason
at
they were
fighting
amazing in the
Sherman.
Paper
conquest of
mache
China was
tanks.
because they
Because
weren't
China
needed
had no
that
tanks.
much. Yeah, China had no
And
armor.
what's it? Fucking. Shermans were getting bogged down while the Japanese tanks were just going.
Like
That's
if you want to
Japan with the
simplify it.
samurais.
in the Shermans in like Europe, it was like 0.75, can't kill anything. In Japan, it's overkill.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say something
Japan-
that's gonna trigger Sam. The T-34 was a good tank to Russia. They could.
I mean-
they wanted a mass production
Yeah.
tank. They wanted to fit it with a good
That's the
weapon,
thing. It
a
was
decent
good.
armor, but it's got horrible crew survivability.
Yeah, it's a good tank, but I really
Like,
hate it.
Where
With a
Samuel hates
passion.
it because of how good it is.
yeah, the
No,
machine gunner.
because it's
You have
so
to exit from
annoying.
underneath the tank. You have to exit from underneath the tank. With the M4 Sherman, you have spring things where for each position to exit out of.
Like
So good on America for doing that.
the thing with the T-34, it was mass-produced angled armor. It ricocheted a lot. That's the thing with its armor.
Nah,
And if you
I never
even
found-
angle the tank, it's almost impossible. That I hate it
You know,
because of it's annoying. Because if you go up against them, you're gonna break something.
You're not gonna.
The thing, they got a faster reload than you. Apparently for some reason, I don't know why. You can shoot them. No damage done. They shoot you, and you get blown to hell.
It was a big surprise to the Germans, though, how fast they were able to go from, yeah,
Yeah, because the
A
Russians
to B.
moved
sevens
like...
to things like
Didn't they
this.
move all factories away? Like, deeper
Yeah.
into Russia,
Yeah,
so they
Germany
could
wanted
just
to
mass
get all
produce
the,
everything?
Yeah, Germany wanted to get all the all the oil fields, but the Soviet Union were like, "Fuck off, Sonny," and they moved them.
Yeah.
Honestly, smart move.
Yeah, like the Russians also did like when they retreated, they burned down everything. So when the Germans came, they couldn't get like food or anything like that because everything was
As
burned
horrific
down.
as it seems, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. That's the thing.
But they did come out of the war with the biggest loss.
Yeah.
27 million.
Yeah, but do you think just Stalin actually cared?
No, he did not.
Oh fuck! I forgot this guy wants to kill me.
Like, when you think of most Russian tanks, or when you think of the most Russian tank, it's the T-34.
T-34.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks of. But when you look
T-34
at
and
it,
probably IS-2.
yeah, but when you look at
Yeah.
all the other ones, you think either they were high as a kite or drunk as an Irishman in a pub when they came up with some
TB2.
ideas.
The landship tanks.
Yeah,
Fucking Winter War was an embarrassment, man.
and
The Finns are actually
KV2.
really lucky, to be honest. Oh, that fucking thing! Holy shit!
it bothers me that you put a howitzer in the shape
Yeah,
of a fridge.
My mic just disconnected. But fucking hell, it did its job.
Yeah. It did its job.
It was a
Holy
surprise for the Germans.
Yeah,
Like,
just see a
they were
fridge
able to
on
hold
tracks.
off like the entire 6th Panzer Army for so fucking long. I mean, it was originally intended for building destroying.
Yeah. A
So was,
152 mil howitzer. Yeah, that's... Yeah.
So was
Bye
the
bye,
Sturm Tiger, but they thought, fuck it, we're not really gonna get use out of this thing, so. Oh fuck! I can't die here. Yeah, the Sturm Tiger. The only time the Sturm Tiger was used for its actual purpose was the Warsaw Uprisings.
And even that was towards the end of the war.
I mean, don't get me. They had good ideas, but they had the right tanks for the wrong war.
Yeah.
It's like pretty much all the Axis powers, so Japan, Germany,
Italy.
The
Finland
major
during the
ones.
continuation
The
war,
major ones.
the major ones had
I never
ideal
found-
tank or military ideas, but then it was for the wrong war.
Yeah. It
I
was-
mean,
I mean, to be
Japan's
honest,
a key example of the Yamato class.
Yeah.
They had America. The only reason Yamato was even taken down was because of the bombardment
Right.
the bombardment of planes by mass-produced aircraft carriers by the Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something Japan even admitted before the war. If they got into a war with America, they wouldn't win if there was a war of
They
attrition.
needed to
long-time
take
war.
out their, like, the Americans'
They need
naval
to, they need to
superiority
do their own
first.
version of the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
But
That's
then
why they attacked
Japan
Pearl Harbor,
sup-
but they did not attack, like, the fuel stations and stuff like that. So within a few weeks or months,
It was,
the entire
It's more
fleet
of a
was
thing
up
to
and running
show-
again.
I feel like it was a thing to show their strength more than anything.
Yeah,
attacking
then they
Pearl
got
Harbor.
then they got the sun twice.
Japan
So talk about
was
yeah,
Japan was an interesting case because they said they weren't going to attack America unless they needed to with oil. And then for oil, because America was Japan's biggest import of oil. But then obviously when Japan decided they were going to start taking South China and Indonesia areas
yeah.
at mass speed, it scared America and also the Aussies.
Yeah, I'm surprised the
And
Australians
then
didn't
obviously-
get wrapped up in the war any quicker. Obviously helping Britain out.
I mean, the Pearl Harbor was a complete disaster, not only for the Americans, but also for the Japanese.
I'm surprised
Because
they
the
didn't try and
entire
assault. I don't know if they did start an assault on Australia or not, but
No, Japan never landed in New Zealand or Australia.
I mean, they could probably take it out pretty fucking easily.
But the thing was, weren't it like the war in the Pacific were just brutal? Like there were no rules in that war.
Yeah, because the Americans had incredibly outdated planes. Then you have the Zeros.
Yeah, but like the landings. When the America like fought back, they actually, or I know that somewhere in the Pacific, American Marines got found like a letter or a document from a Japanese officer or something like that, describing what the Japanese were fighting against, and it said, "These Americans are not human."
Fucking-
Americans took in ex-criminals, like mass murderers, like they thought that
Britain done that.
Marines were serial killers, stuff like that. They had
Fucking
just
Billy
pulled from the
Butcher.
jails and just sent them to Japan to, like, literally just brutally kill them. That's what they thought.
Churchill used that during the North African campaign. Because he was using criminals mainly for that had been caught for bank robbery or using explosives to use
That was our
against.
campaign.
Well, yeah, but also because it's an actual thing that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that, like,
I know, I just wanted
no,
to make a link.
no criminals were in the Marines at that time. Like, all of them were like that signed up after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the thing, though.
thing.
They had the motivation behind Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, and then they like realized the war crimes the Japanese did against POWs, and then it became like, okay, you do that to our POWs, and we do the same. Most Marines killed Japanese POWs on the spot, and so did the Japanese. But then you know how that went.
It didn't go too well.
No, not for the Japanese. And then, like, the thing was with the Marines used flamethrowers, and that was what scared the Japanese the most. But at the same
Can we
kind
also
of fun.
address the fact that every country commits atrocities?
Yeah, war crimes, civilians, acceptable casualties, blah blah blah.
No, but can we actually address that?
No, like, neither of the countries in World War II cared about civilians. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
good.
a village there.
Blitz.
Wonder what this button will do.
Japan with-
Drops 3,000
Japan
pounds of
with
bombs.
China.
Oh, whoops. An entire village flattened. Uh-oh. Nobody cares.
What village?
Yeah, exactly. I don't see no village.
Britain done it with
Dresden.
Nazi-occupied France and Dresden.
Yeah,
and-
Dresden.
And also Norway.
Yeah, but fuck Norway.
Jävla Norge.
Nobody cares about
When they were
Norway.
trying to hunt for Tirpitz.
Oh,
Conveniently, they're both of the same class as well, Dad.
yeah. You mean alla i kanske. Of what they call them.
Alright,
I mean, you
not
never
access
know.
to the Grand Cathedral Awards.
That's why I should not be in wars, because I would just kill everybody.
Spend the rest on Quicksilvers.
But the Japanese were actually smart if you think about what they did in certain points.
I mean, America's plan was stupid, but effective.
Yeah,
Which was attack.
Iwo Jima.
yeah, but I think when they bombarded, like the
I mean,
beaches
they weren't gonna let
and
anyone get to their
inlands,
homeland.
and the Japanese were in caves and stuff like that, and was hiding. And when the Americans landed, they were hiding in pillboxes, well camouflaged. And fucking hell, they got a surprise when they landed.
When the,
Yeah, the order.
when
Japan
the,
on the
airborne
defense.
divisions
The orders
landed.
were wait until they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait until they come in and then just fucking light them up for maximum casualties.
Yeah. Like, that's what they did. But they didn't realize most
Yeah.
of the people they killed were affected by it.
Yeah.
So a lot of Marines were pissed. So when they caught a
Den mamma
Japanese
drinka
POW.
kissen!
So when they got a POW, it usually ended up with them dead. Because you kill one of ours, we kill 1,000 of you. That's how it works.
Okay, Grand Cathedral. Va! Key to the gate to Grand Cathedral was Round Plaza. I'm at the fucking plaza.
Vårt där bara man kan få testningar.
Oh, I know where Grand Cathedral is. Fuck! Visceral. Oh, I need to kill the fucking tool time. Fuck.
I just realized I have forgotten to introduce you.
Nick.
The guy talking about naval stuff
Who then?
was Cameron, and the guy talking about and the other guy's named Josh, basically.
Thank you. I was going to be talking about pre-World War II Germany, but heck, we're here.
Yeah, pretty much. I should have done that in the beginning.
Nej!
You!
Ja, vad fan är helvete?
I should have introduced you. But hey ho, we're still here.
Pepparkakshus! I had to think of something. I had to think of something to say, okay? I had to think of something to say, alright? Check. Pepparkakshus! I just like my serious podcast about Nazis. Pepparkakshus! Oh yes, he's got the echoes. Nice. Cool. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Giant white cunt. That's just Charlie Sheen. You know what? Fuck it. Just run past the tall white man!
Every black guy be like when they see a black man.
What?
Oh yeah, I realized we haven't gone past the 30 minutes and we're already autistic. Oh, that's something.
I finally entered Grand Cathedral. Ah! Ah! Oh, shove!
Yeah.
Oh, I nearly shat myself! Oh. Oh, I nearly shat myself! I'm playing Bloodborne! Oh my god. No, it's on the PlayStation. I'm on my PlayStation. Fucking to you too, cunt. I just spat like my floor. Nigga, yeah.